Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome. Here we are. Let's just make sure everything is working. Okay, hold on one second here. Let me just jump on. What a day. It is Thursday, February 7th. Basically, last night I went to a concert with my mom. It was amazing, Elton John, and I was not able to live stream because we were rocking out with Elton John at the Pepsi Center here in Denver, Colorado. And then yesterday we were going to live stream at noon, but probably about an hour and a half before we went live, the internet went out, and not just at our house, but it sounded like it hit the whole neighborhood. So, thankfully, they came out and fixed it yesterday pretty quickly, but not quick enough to do a live stream yesterday. So, therefore, here we are on Thursday, February 7th, and thank you for being here. Let's see. Shout out, first of all, a shout out to Europe, because this is pretty big, and let me know. Oh, okay, it sounds like there's a double. Hold on. I know this happened. This is crazy. Okay, hold on. Okay. There we go. I apologize. I think I muted it yesterday, but okay, how about now? How about now? So, I'll just keep talking because basically it's the internal microphone on the computer. And if you don't mute it all the way, somehow there's an echo. And so I believe we're going to be good to go now. Okay, thank you. Patriotic Runner. There we go. Matthew, Sebastian, Adrian. Oh my goodness, there's 48 watching. And so there we go. Okay. Let me just begin again and say that usually we live stream Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, but this week we were off a little bit because I went to the Elton John concert last night with my mom. It was amazing. It's his farewell tour. He did great, rocked it out for over 2 hours, and then, okay, and yes, I would like to just check in the chat box. If you could let us know where you're from. And again, shout out to Europe. Shout out to Europe. A lot of times when we do the live streams at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, hopefully everybody in Europe is sleeping and catching up on rest and recovering from their runs. And so I know you're not always able to join, but every now and then we will do a live stream at this time. So here we go. And let's see. So you can hear me. It looks like everyone can hear me. All right. I'm going to give some shout outs real quick to the chat. Let's see. We got Kevin, Tropical Runner, Daniel. Oh, that's great. Okay. David, Kevin, Johnny, Jay, Derek, Adrian, Jesse, Matthew, oh my goodness, Jason, Edwin, let's see, there we go. So yes, and oh my goodness, we got Greeley, Colorado represented, the Netherlands, Germany, shout out to Germany, and I'm so glad that Europe is here. I actually want to talk about Europe today, and yeah, so let's see, East Texas, awesome, another Germany, Belgium, oh my goodness, how cool, Jordan from Belgium. Did you know, Jordan, my last name is DeMoor, and actually my family ancestry or roots go back to Belgium, so Belgium has a special place in my heart. Detroit, all right, 62 watching, and yes, as we get going, if you could share the link, spread it around to Twitter, Facebook, wherever you want, Instagram, and we'll see if we can get as many people on here as possible before we get going. Let's see, okay, let me just pull up some notes. Finland, okay, and I also like to ask at the beginning of every live stream, how was your run today? How was your run? What did you do? And of course, we'll talk about Strava in a minute, but how was your run? Let us know in the chat box. I actually have not run yet today. It's noon here in Colorado, so I will be doing that later today. So I actually have not run, but how was your run today? Let us know. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. It's chilly in Denver today. It's chilly. So, oh my goodness, okay. It's so great just to see everybody. Oh my goodness, wow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so first of all, as we get going here, and again, thank you for sharing that link on the side in the chat. If you're asking questions, I'm not always able to answer all of the questions because they just come in really fast. But there is this feature called Super Chat where you can pitch a little money to the channel, and it basically highlights the comment or the question, and you know, I will answer all of the super chats. So I just want to let all of you know that. And also DeMoor Global Running on Strava. Okay, I'm just looking at all of your runs today. Hold on one second. 6 mile tempo, awesome. Johnny, getting 11 miles in later today. Super cold, 9 degrees out. Woo! Okay, let's see. Jay, just got off work. I'm an afternoon runner. I know, Jay. I get it. I try to be a morning runner, but it doesn't always happen. Let's see. Alex, 18K, 4:38 per kilometer. Nice work. That's awesome. Joey, 5 mile run today. Temperature dropped 25 degrees today. Wow. Jamie, rest day for me. Marathon number 6 on Sunday for me. Jamie, you're just crushing it with this weekly marathon business. Oh my goodness, it's awesome to follow you. DNS track workout. Track was covered with 1/4 inch of ice. That's from Victor. Oh my goodness. And 7 miles in strong winds from Derek. Woo! Oh my good job, Derek, getting out there. I tell you what, running in the wind, it makes you tough, and it makes you focus on your form. If it's really windy, like, it really makes you focus on your form if it's a bad day out. So, good work, Derek. Okay, Kurt, 8 mile recovery with strides. Kevin, 8 mile easy run today. Matthew, got to get out for a few miles still, hoping a former CU teammate of yours joins me. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. That's amazing, Matthew. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Scared of 8 mile MP today. Okay, Chris, that's from Chris. Yeah, you got, you know, some workouts can put you on edge a little bit. Thunder Flash 10K run on ice in Innovate Arctic Claws. Oh my goodness. I want to try the Arctic Claws so bad. Basically, these are running shoes, everybody, that have built-in spikes, like micro spikes. Hold on. So instead of putting screws in the bottom of your shoes like I did to my Salomon Speedcross 4s, these Arctic Claws have like built-in micro spikes. I believe I'm correct on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, okay. Beautiful to see everybody, and thank you. 79 here watching. This is amazing. Looks like you guys have had some good workouts today. Okay, let's see. Let me jump in to Strava. Okay, this is... Okay, let's see. Let me just hit refresh here on the DeMoor Global Running. So if you're on Strava, and listen, I know there's other apps out there for tracking running. I think Strava is the best one as far as the overall global running community. And again, as I warned last week, you don't want to be comparing yourself to other people on Strava, because guess what? They are at different points in their training block. They might have a race in 6 weeks, and you might have a race in 12 weeks, okay? And so, like, you can't be, I think that can be a little bit of a temptation, and I'll admit it as well. When I open up Strava and I'm like, wow, that's an amazing, like, the goal of Strava is to encourage each other and to, I would say, you can like glean information and like training ideas for sure, but just remember, like, your training block is set. Your training blocks are going to be different than everybody else, unless of course you're like training with a team and you're all doing the same training block. But I just want to mention that, and I do want to give some shout outs to last week's leaderboard in the DeMoor Global Running group on Strava, and I'm just looking here. It looks like there's now 745 runners and, frankly, YouTube family members. You guys are just rocking it. 745. So last week, holy smokes, Thad ran 125 miles. Thad, that is quite a week of running. Congratulations. James had 93, and Wutur, I'm not going to say your last name correctly, but Wutur, or maybe it's pronounced Walter, had 88. And then for climbing, it was Brett, who was, so vertical climbing, so ascent, was 10,746 feet by Brett. I don't know, Brett, if you are local or not. I think you might be in Colorado. So he was first. I came in second with 10,738. So you got me by 8 feet, it looks like. Or 12 feet. That's awesome, man. Michael Reagan had 10,434 feet of climbing. So just so cool to see everybody's hard work, right? You know how I like to talk about hard work here on YouTube. So anyway, shout out to everybody on the DeMoor Global Running. Okay, so wow, 94 here. This is amazing. Keep it coming, and let's dive into now. I want to, since Europe is, I think, well represented in the chat box because, oh my goodness, and we got Forest of Dean Runner here, Jamie, oh my goodness, these are other, so just so you know, these are other YouTubers who make running videos. So I'm just going to give some shout outs to Jamie Stewart and Forest of Dean Runner, FOD Run, you'll see them in the chat box. And so anyway, I'm all about like spreading the love, and there's plenty of other, I'm not, you know, if you only subscribe to me as a running YouTube channel, just know there is a really, really strong community of runners out there that publish regularly, if not every day, on YouTube. So, welcome to Europe, and let's see, let me just open up here with a couple questions for all of you. A few, if you want to say trivia questions. I want to focus in on Europe. So here we go. Hold on, I'm just reading it real quick here. I wrote it down. Okay, which ultra marathon runner, and where is this person from, who holds the world record for the longest distance run in 365 days. Another way to say that, who has the most miles over a 365-day period? I will just say this person is from Europe. What is this person's name and where is he from? No Google. Does anybody know? So this is like reaching out to the ultra running world especially. Who has the world record for the most miles run over a 365-day period? All right, can anybody guess here? Oh my goodness, here we go. Here we go. I'm going to be monitoring the chat, and okay, I realize that's a pretty niche question, so if you do need to do a little research, maybe just not straight to Google, I understand. Let's see here if it comes in the chat, and again, thank you oh my goodness, we're over 100 people watching. That's amazing. It is not Killian. It is not Killian. Good guess. Any other? And then I can give you a hint. I will say, yes, Alex, okay. So I will just say he's a Frenchman. He's a Frenchman. No, I'm talking more about, it's not Anton, although that's another good guess. All right, I'll just tell you. Serge Girard from France. He ran 16,783 miles or 27,000 kilometers in 1 year. So that's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. Good guess, Kurt, Francois, not Francois. Okay, moving on. What is the oldest marathon in Europe? What is the oldest marathon in Europe, and when did it happen? What was the first year of the oldest marathon in Europe? Okay, here we go. I'm just monitoring the chat. Oh my goodness, you all are amazing. Over 100 people here. Yes, Crikey is correct. It's a lot of miles, Okay, anybody else here? What is the oldest marathon in Europe, and when did it happen? I'll also just say this marathon is the second oldest in the world, just after Boston. Nice, thank you. Berlin, nope. Athens, nope. Greece. It's not in Greece. Well, okay. I think I know what you're thinking there, because like the first, even though it wasn't really a marathon race, and I'm talking about a marathon race, the oldest marathon race. Oh, I'm sorry if I didn't specify that. So, the oldest marathon race, sorry, I should have qualified that if I didn't say it. I know, it's not Athens, it's not Greece. It's actually, and I'm not going to say this correctly, the Kosice Peace Marathon in Slovakia in 1924. How cool is that? That is the second oldest marathon in the world. I thought that was pretty neat, kind of off the beaten path. And I'm not pronouncing it exactly correctly. So there you go. Yes, so anyway, all right, moving on to one more, and this connects to everyone in the UK. This should be a little easier. What year did the marathon Olympic event happen where they extended the distance from 25 miles to 26.2 miles. It's a pretty neat story as to why it happened. I won't get into it, but what year was it? This is the last question. Did you know they actually extended in the Olympics in this year from 25 miles, so 40 kilometers, to 26.2 miles, 42 kilometers basically. So, let's see, I'll just monitor the chat over here. Thank you for being here, by the way. Any, let's see here. Okay, I'm just monitoring as they're coming in, And a shout out again to the blue collar runner, Jamie, Kareem, David. Ooh, close, Zoli, close. Close, Caliste, Joe, let's see, you're getting close, not quite, there you go, here we are running, I believe it's here, 1908, at the London Olympics in 1908, that's right. I won't get into the whole story, but basically they wanted the marathon to finish at a particular spot, and so, and I forget the name of the location, but you all from the UK probably know the story. But anyway, they extended the marathon, and then that solidified. And think of this: they extended the distance to 26.2, and then look at Kipchoge from Kenya, who was trying to break 2 hours. What was it? Last year or the year before, and imagine if they had not extended that distance, the 2 hour barrier would have already been broken, like easily. And so I think it's like destiny that the marathon distance was extended to that 26.2 miles or 42 kilometers, give or take. And therefore, it just makes like the marathon challenge of breaking 2 hours all the better. I just love that like little piece of history. And so, okay, moving on. And yes, 1908. Let's see. Okay, and I'm just going to give a few shout outs here to Adrian, Thomas, Zoli, brothers, Kosh, Ivan, let's see, Ben, let's see, Michael. Oh my goodness, thank you everyone for, yes, finally a stream for Europe. That is right, Michael, here we are. And now, Europe, just so you know, I have been to Europe, I don't know, probably 3, 4, 5 times. And my brother actually asked me maybe a month ago, he said, a good question to ask everyone on YouTube would be like, what is their memory of their favorite run of their entire life? And I would have to say, I probably have like a top 3 list, but I'd say 2 of the top 3 were in Europe. For example, one time I was in Austria and I was in Salzburg, traveling and visiting, and basically I got lost. we were staying at a hostel in Salzburg, Austria. I went out, and the bus that we were touring was getting ready to leave, but I wanted to get a run in before the bus was leaving, and so I left way early, like I think it was like between 5:30 and 6 a.m., and the bus was scheduled to leave around 9 a.m., and basically I got lost. Everyone was freaking out. They didn't know, like, I told someone I was leaving to go for a run, but I was back, way past the time that I said I would be, but it was honestly one of the best runs of my entire life was in Salzburg, Austria, just getting lost up in the hills above Salzburg and like exploring the old buildings and like the cobblestone. And I must say, and again, thank you for being here. I must say that it was one of the best runs of my life, just because of the adventure and the beauty. And we Americans, like, we have old cities in America on the East Coast and old buildings, but you guys in Europe, relish those beautiful old areas of the world that I think are beautiful to run in. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that story. And so if you are from Europe, let us know in the chat, and let us know, and I know you've already, oh my goodness, like Fabian from France, let us know in the chat, and let us know if you don't mind typing like 1 or 2 sentences, what is one of the best runs that you've ever been on in Europe? And that's why I have Europe written up here. Or you could also say, what is one of the best races that one could do in Europe? Whether it's a marathon, whether it's an ultra marathon. For example, I definitely have on my bucket list getting into UTMB at some point in my life. It's probably going to be 3, 4, 5 years down the road. But for those that don't know, UTMB is, definitely the biggest ultra marathon in the world as far as just overall prestige and difficulty. It takes place in Chamonix, France, and I have dreams of getting over there and racing that race. So let us know if you are from, and again, thank you. Oh my goodness, over 100 people still here watching. Okay, I'm just going to read through the chat here. Let's see. Dublin Marathon. Okay, great support at the Dublin. That's awesome. And I've actually been to Dublin, and it's beautiful. And I don't remember like it being too hilly, maybe a little bit on the outskirts. So maybe it would be, I don't know if it'd be a fairly flat course. Amsterdam, that would be awesome. Nellis, I love that. Chamonix, that's right, Chamonix. Shout out to Chamonix. Let's see here. Where else? I'm just monitoring the chat over here. Midnight Sun Marathon in Norway. David, that sounds really fun. Oh my goodness. Just so you know, like I love the different parts of Europe, but Norway, and I know Norway is in Europe, but I mean like Norway is on another level. I don't know if there's anyone watching from Norway right now, but Norway really is on another level as far as natural beauty and landscape. Okay, Frankfurt Marathon, nice, great event. Plus, first race I could finish sub 3. Congrats, Michael. I love your channel. Thank you, Brothers Kosh. Vienna City Marathon, ABCDEFG. That sounds great. Vienna City, Dublin again. Warschau Marathon in Austria. I'm not saying that correctly, but that's interesting. Okay. The Sydney Marathon. I don't know if you mean Sydney, Australia, or thank you for that though. Art Vanderlee. David looks awesome. Louise, Berlin Marathon, the fastest one. You are correct. Jamie Stewart, Scotland, the Loch Ness Marathon or the Speyside Way Ultra Marathon. Joe, Norway would be up your alley. Absolutely. David, Edinburgh Marathon, of course. And then Edwin, Snowdonia Marathon in Wales. And Elliot, running in the mountains in Norway, yes. And the Paris Marathon from Fabian. And I believe the Ring of Ring of Steel Sky Race in Scotland. I believe it's the oldest trail race in Europe. I was trying to find some more research, but if I remember correctly, it was started in 1895. 1895. So the Ring of Steel Sky Race is really high. Who knows? That might be a 2020 goal for me. Just so if you're in Scotland or that area of the world of Europe, I would be very interested in going there. Okay. Let's see. Edinburgh. Yes. Okay. Yes, Sage did that last year, didn't he? Yes, he did. You're correct. Forest of Dean runner, he did do that. You are correct. There are so many. I only started running last year, but I'm doing races this year to get points for the CCC for next year. The full UTMB is still far out. That's right. Bike in Motion. And I believe you're getting a lot of vertical right now, Bike in Motion. Yes, Ring of Steel. It's on the list. Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you for being here, by the way, to everybody. And shout out, again, we've just been talking about Europe. And when we open it up to open Q&A, I'm happy to field more questions about Europe. I do want to move on, though, to kind of a little bit of a crazy topic. Basically, you probably, if you're plugged into the running world, you probably saw in the news this week in Colorado, a trail runner, was out on the trails and he was attacked from behind by a mountain lion. I don't know if in Europe you call them, I don't even actually know if these animals are in Europe. They can also be called cougars, pumas. In Colorado we call them mountain lions. If you just Google mountain lion Colorado, it'll be the first like 2 or 3 hits on Google as far as this gentleman getting attacked. Now, I don't think there's any pictures of him, thankfully, but he was attacked. Oh, and I should just say, he lived. He was not killed by the mountain lion. And listen, I don't want to this is, it's been a big topic here in Colorado in the last 3 or 4 days, and I don't want to scare anybody, but I do want to just, as a trail runner, bring it up with all of you that there are real risks out there that you have to be aware of. You got to be aware of your surroundings. And so this mountain lion was an 80-pound mountain lion, which actually means it was kind of smaller. It was a baby mountain lion. I think they can get easily over 120, 140 pounds. And that's probably why this gentleman survived. And so I'm not trying to make light of it. It's just absolutely insane. The gentleman actually choked out the mountain lion. He choked, I don't know how. Nobody knows, the full, I haven't seen the full story yet, because I think the gentleman is still in the hospital recovering, but I'm guessing I don't know, but he choked out the mountain lion, and the mountain lion definitely, attacked him and messed him up. And I've heard that baby mountain lions are more susceptible to attacks because they're trying to establish their hunting territory, and they're not quite, they don't have an established hunting area yet, and so they can go after easier, quote unquote, easier prey. And anyway, I just wanted, that's why mountain lions is written up here. And I also just want to say, for anyone in Colorado or Utah or other parts of the world as well, we just need to be aware of our surroundings as we're out there in the trails. And listen, I've never seen a mountain lion. In a zoo or in the wild. They're very hard to spot. I have seen a bear, but it was actually in the city limits of Boulder, Colorado. And with a mountain lion and a bear, and again, you can chime into the chat. Yes, and Daniel, thank you for chiming in. He killed the mountain lion. Did I mention that? So he choked the mountain lion and he killed it. So he lived. The mountain lion didn't make it, but basically, I guess I would be interested to hear in the chat, like, what animals have you seen out in the wild, and have you had any scary encounters? Oh my goodness, and I'm just remembering, Forest of Dean runner, I think you have had quite a few encounters with wild boars, and it sounds like they're kind of dangerous. Let us know in the chat. But and in Colorado, one of the most dangerous animals that you can encounter is the moose. If you get between a moose and its babies, we're talking not good. Moose can become very aggressive, and I know they're not your typical predatory animal, but a moose will mess you up, and they're fast, and they will just stomp you down. So I've actually seen a moose, and it was pretty, you just back up slowly, and that's, I guess, one tip of advice is you don't want to run away. So Bike in Motion said, thank God we don't have any of those pumas here in Europe. Interesting. Yes, I should try. I wouldn't mind interviewing him if he'd be willing to come on. But yeah, we'll see. You had, Alex said, I had an encounter with a wild sheep today. So basically, yeah, let me know, like, if you had any encounters with wild animals. I've seen a moose and I've seen a bear, and basically with the bear, it was in the city limits, and so it was more interested in the trash over me, and it was just kind of looking around, and basically you see the bear and then you slowly back up. You slowly back up, like you don't want to run. And if you are, obviously if you're attacked, like, you need to fight back as best you can. But I don't carry mace. I don't carry, a knife. I've thought about a knife, actually. Like, I have thought about a knife, just so you know. I don't carry a gun. And the most important thing is to just be aware of your surroundings. And I guess one last tip that I've heard is that you want to make your presence known in the wild. Like, you don't want to startle a moose or startle any big animal. So I actually, when I'm out in a certain area of the mountains, and a lot of times I am in the mountains alone, and not when I'm doing 14ers, but more like 8,000 feet above sea level to like 10,000 or 11,000. That's kind of the zone where some of these animals hang out a lot. I will clap my hands and make my presence known. I will whistle, I will shout a little bit, but I'll just kind of make noise as I'm running down the trail in order to just let everything out there know, like, hey, I'm here. You probably, you're probably a little scared of me because I'm making this weird noise. So anyway, that's a tip that I've heard before, is you want to make your presence known when you're out there. So, all right, I'm going to jump into the chat here a little bit. Let's see. Justin says, sometimes Charlotte natives can be more dangerous than wild animals. Justin, yeah, we got to be careful of some of those humans out there. It's actually no joke. Cat, while hiking Hanging Lake, we saw what we think was a wild cat watching us from the top of the cliff. Wow. Yeah, that's scary. And let's see. So, where are we here? Victor said Cobra Chicken, aka Canadian Goose. Yeah. Canadian geese, I actually, when I'm running through parks, geese can get a little aggressive. Like, they'll kind of lunge at me, and I don't know what it feels like to get bitten by a Canadian goose. Jamie says, seagulls, when they have young, laugh out loud, not quite mountain lions. Oh, interesting. So seagulls can be aggressive. Interesting. Okay, I saw somebody said, let's see here. Jason said, I saw a lion on Mount Sanitas. Both my wife and I watched it as it crouched in the grass. Wow, Jason. Oh my goodness, I'd be fascinated to hear what happened after that. Okay, Lawrence said, I ran with my wife last week. That was pretty scary. Oh, Lawrence, come on now. Peter said, had my ankles nipped at by a few Yorkies. Yorkie is a wee dog. That's awesome. But Peter, yes, Yorkies can bite, and guess what? I've been bitten by a German Shepherd on a run. That was no dice. That was not fun. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Art Vanderlee said people should stand firm and make an effort to look larger. And if attacked, fight back using any weapon at hand. Yes, that's a good point. Like if you have a jacket, kind of pull it above you and just kind of look around and make yourself look as big as possible. And yes, you want to be as loud as possible. Yeah, so it's definitely a... something to be aware of, and it was big news in Colorado, this mountain lion attack. And okay, I just want to be, you know, I just want to share stats. Like, attacks do happen and people are killed. So I just was reading articles, and I don't want to scare anyone, but it's just something to be aware of. Like, these attacks do happen. So okay, we can move on. I'm just reading through the chat here. And thank you for being here, by the way. Everyone, Kurt, Justin, Jack, let's see, Nellis. Yes, and loose running dogs can be a huge challenge as it appears here in the chat that people have been chased down and probably even bitten sometimes. Okay, let's move on. Those are the 2 points I wanted to talk about today. Shout out again to everyone in Europe, whether it's Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands. I haven't seen Spain or Italy yet represented in the chat. If you're from Spain or Italy, let us know. And boy, we're rising up to 120 watching. This is amazing. Let's see, I think I also saw Poland and let's see, who else was there? Sweden. So anyway, shout out to Europe. And we talked a little bit about racing in Europe. We've talked about the mountain lions. And now I would like to open it up to open Q&A. Of course, I've got, and this week we're going with the On box, the On running shoe box. So what I do, if you're new, people can email me their questions, or email me or send them to me on Instagram. Those are probably the 2 best places. Second would probably be on the DeMoor Global, or third would probably be on the DeMoor Global Running group on Strava. And what I'll do is every week I will monitor the posts. You know, you can post on that group, and if you ask a question there on the DeMoor Global Running, I will add it to the box. I actually print it off, yes, with a paper printer, and I put them in the box, and then I draw out of the box, and I answer questions. So let's get the questions rolling in the chat. Any question you have, whether it's about training, whether it's about shoes, whether it's about mountain lions, whether it's about anything, frankly, life in general. So let's start off with... this is from Dan. So Dan asks, let's see, maybe I need to run some hills at the end of some longer runs. Okay, so this gentleman, Dan, he's running the Black Canyon 100K, which is basically 60 miles, 62 miles. He's running it in 2 weeks, and he tips, eat and drink as much as possible. It's his first ultra. Hoping my work training pays off. We will see. So basically, he's asking for tips on running 100K. And Dan, if it's your first one, I would recommend mentally, in your mind, saying to yourself that the race begins at 50K. Meaning, take your time, be patient, don't race the first 50K. Frankly, you just get through it, almost approach that first 50K as a warm-up, and then once you get to that halfway point, you can start to tell yourself, okay, my legs are still on my body, I'm still moving forward, and I can finish this thing in the last 50K. So anyway, that's how I would break up the race, like, just especially since it's your first one. Definitely fuel up. I would eat real food. Like 100K, that's probably going to take you you know, that could take you 10 hours. I don't know how fast you are, but that's a good solid day depending on the course. So I would recommend eating real food and not just doing goos and gels and gummies. Like, you know, I don't like, gosh, 100K. I mean, I like it depending on if you're running at night a little bit, but I like a nice warm soup. Just like a broth-based soup that has some sodium. And that's another thing, okay? Like, don't be afraid of salt tablets. You got to be careful, but that was a mistake I made. I did not take in enough salt in my 100-mile race. So if it's hot out, you might want to take salt tablets. Okay, let's see. Diving into the chat. Haha, Italy is here. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, Spain, but living in Switzerland. Awesome, David. Let's see. So I'm just looking for some questions here in the chat. Let's see. Okay, Denmark is here. That's awesome. Okay. Robert asks, how do you fuel your long runs? Robert, you know, I like, you know, specifically, I like Luna bars. So as far as like a granola bar, like an energy bar, I lean toward Luna bars. I just like the taste of Luna bars. Honey Stinger waffles. Honey Stinger waffles is, ooh, they're tasty. And when you say a long run, like last year I did some 30-mile, 40-mile long runs, so some pretty long stuff. And I would say I really started hitting the I need to do a better job at hitting the nutrition around mile 10 as opposed to mile like 22. And that's just kind of the old mentality in my brain of training in college. Like we never really ate on our long runs. We would take water, maybe a little bit of Gatorade on our long runs. But so anyway, I'm actually working on my nutrition as well as and just so you know, I'm running my first marathon on the roads in 2019, and so I need to dial in my nutrition for that marathon, and I'm beginning to research different strategies for that because it is new territory for me. But Honey Stinger waffles and Luna bars, believe it or not, like I do want to test out Tailwind this year. It's an energy drink. I've heard great things about Tailwind. Also, what's it called? Roctane. I believe it's called Roctane. So anyway, those are a couple things. Let's see. James asks, are the Hoka Carbon fiber plates on sale yet? They are for sale, but they're not on a discount price yet, James. Good question. And Forest of Dean Runner asks, what's going to be your peak marathon training mileage week, mileage-wise? That's from Forest of Dean Runner. And sorry, I'm trying to get to as many questions as possible. Let's see. I'm going to definitely get to 90 miles per week in this first peak, and then I'm going to drop back down. And frankly, to answer your question, I'd love to get up to the 100 to 110 range, and I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot, but I also have had a lot of experience at the 100 mile per week range in college. Like that was pretty standard for us getting ready for a 10K. So anyway, but at the same time, I need to factor in everything else in life, you know, work, family, and also in Colorado, because of so much vertical that we do here, that will probably drop the mileage down, but I would frankly love 100 to 110 miles per week. That would be a sweet spot for me, I think. So good question. Let's see here. What else? I'm just looking for more questions. And just so you know, it always helps if you put a question mark at the end of the question. It's easier for me to find. So Armin asks, what did you recommend for warm-up? I don't know if you mean like a warm-up for like a race, but I always go with like the 2 to 3 mile warm-up followed up by some strides. So warm-up for 2 to 3 miles. So what is that? You know, 4 to 5K, and then stretch it out, do your stretching routine, and then I like to go at least 4 hard strides, so 150 meter kind of basically all-out strides. So good question. Let's see here, diving back in. Armin is from Bavaria. Awesome. Let's see. Hello from London. That's from Fernando. Dave is from Carlisle, UK here. That's awesome, Dave. Yes, and just so you know, I'm starting to recognize your names associated with your little, I don't know what you even call it, like your little icon on YouTube, your little thumbnail or logo or whatever you want to call it. So I'm slowly getting better at recognizing different people. Okay, let's see. Art Vanderlee asks, have you met Kofuzi in person yet? He mentioned he likes your vlog. That's awesome. I have not. So he lives in Chicago. I live in Denver, but my wife is from Chicago, the Chicago area. And so this summer, 2019, there's a good chance we're taking a trip out to Chicago to see her family. And yeah, I will be reaching out to Kofuzi. We'll do a little collaboration. So good question. Let's see. And let's see here. Okay, I'm just diving in. Is a sub 2-hour marathon realistic in the near future from Tropical Runner? Absolutely. It's absolutely realistic. It's going to take a special talent, the perfect weather conditions. Will it? Okay, but the other question is, will it happen in a race or a like how Kipchoge went after it in Italy, I believe. Where was that in Italy, by the way? That if anybody knows, like I think it was northern Italy where Kipchoge tried on that racetrack. But in a race, I would say we're a much further away. I would say 5 to 10 more years in an actual race like Berlin or Rotterdam. That would probably be the top 2 places. Probably not Chicago, only because it's always so hot in Chicago. Not always, but a lot of times, even though Chicago is a very flat course. That's a good question. Good question. Okay, let's see here. Joel asks, what do you think about running a marathon this summer between track and cross-country season? Joel, it sounds like you're in high school, maybe college. I wouldn't recommend it, Joel. I think that's, I think that would rush, you'd have to rush your training too much. And especially like, I don't know, I think being a little more, like, I think it would throw off your cross-country season. I'll just put it that way. I mean, yeah, you could pull it off probably, but to really race a hard, fast road marathon, I think your body could get pretty beat up, and it might, I would suspect it would impact a little bit of your cross-country season, especially early on. So, good question, Joel. Appreciate that. Yes, in Monza, Italy, Dylan, on the F1 track. That was a, I must say, that is a pretty neat video that they put together. I think it was National Geographic when they filmed him. Okay, so... Okay, Chris asks, running leggings, shorts, or not? Chris, I'm not exactly sure. So I guess if you mean like tights, Chris, I like tights in the winter to keep my hamstrings warmer so I don't pull a hamstring. And then in the summer, I definitely wear shorts more. So I don't know if that's exactly what you were wondering, but Chris, good question. Let's see, Bike in Motion asks, do you ever cross-train, like do a bike session instead of easy miles to rest the legs? Bike in Motion, I do not cross-train, but I would be open to it. I would be very open to it. You know, especially as I continue to age, you know, you got to watch yourself, whether it's biking, whether it's swimming, whether it's the elliptical machine, which is that machine where you kind of use your arms as well. But I don't cross-train too much. I do go to the gym and I do like strengthening exercises, but as far as like getting on a bike to get aerobic development, I don't do that. But that's a good question. I'm suspecting that you do. If you do, that's awesome. Send me some tips. I'd appreciate it. Let's see here. Jordan, what are some key workouts for a half marathon? I have 1 month left before the race. Jordan, let's see. I don't know your training schedule. I don't know your training blocks, but I always like, when I'm thinking about a race and workouts, I always like to approach the race by breaking it down. Some people break their races down into 3 segments, beginning, middle, and end. I usually break it down even a little further to quarters. So, you know, for a half marathon, you're looking at a little over, gosh, now you're testing my math, a little over 3 miles, a little over 5K. So I like to approach workouts, like for a half marathon, I would do, like 3 by 3K. So that's a pretty, like 3K, almost 2 miles with, you know, with 2.5 minutes rest. And, you know, preferably on a surface that is going to be similar to the race course. So 3 by 3K, 2.5 minutes rest at above race pace effort. Just to get, if you're really looking to race a distance, I always like to go a little above race effort because it's going to hurt late in the race. And if you're used to that pain, it will help. So anyway, that'd be one idea, but again, I don't know your training schedule and game plan. Good question though. So let's see. Okay, I'm just looking here, and again, I can't get to all the questions. If you want to throw a super chat, I will definitely answer those. Let's see. Jason says Seth is going to break 2 hours. Oh man, Seth is going to try and break 2:19, but 2 hours, that'll be for somebody else, I have a feeling. Okay, Jamie asks, in your high mileage week, how many double days would you do? Yeah, Jamie, that's a good question. I will probably be at 2 double days, maybe 3, but probably 2. Good question, Jamie. Yeah, you gotta, you know, you really gotta add doubles at some point. Really, for me, I'd say anything above 70 miles a week, and I'm sorry I'm not converting everything to kilometers isn't that a pain? I feel like I would be fine if the United States switched to kilometers. I feel like it'd make the world a lot easier to deal with as far as the conversions. Okay, just diving back in here. So, hi, DeMoor Global Running. That's right, Karsten. And still over 100 people watching. By the way, this is amazing. Okay, let's see. I'm going to dive back into the box. Gut feeling, which shoes for your marathon, Seth? Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I think that's from Ed. Oh, I don't know if I can answer that yet. Okay, I actually cannot answer that yet. Okay, but I'm not afraid to be totally honest with you, of course. That's why I'm here. How could I deny the Vaporfly 4%, right? But I have not tested the Reebok Float Ride Run Fast Pro yet. I haven't tested the On Cloud Flash. I'd be shocked if that was the shoe, but you never know. I'm still testing the Hoka Carbon Rocket. Yeah, so anyway, there are a lot of options out there. Actually, even the Saucony Fast Twitch 8, quite a few of you mentioned that you set your half marathon and marathon PRs in the Saucony Fast Twitch 8. I personally, when I tried the Fast Twitch 8 from Saucony, I thought it was a little too stiff, and I thought, okay, this is like a 5K, 10K road racing shoe, not necessarily half and full. I don't know. I could be wrong. So that's my answer. Okay, here's a super chat. Here's a super chat from Thunderflash. I love the name. How much time does it take out of your runs setting up cameras, drone shots, etc.? And does it hamper your runs any? Good question, Thunderflash. Good question. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. Here's the little drone. I do get a lot of questions in the comments about how I get the aerial shots, and I just have to mention, here's the drone. This is the little DJI Spark, and it does a good job. I think it's about $300 US approximately. You can buy, I think the first generation is cheaper now. So it fits in my backpack, actually. Hold on. Here's, I should not call this a backpack. This is a vest. So it fits in my vest. Actually, if you watched the vlog from a couple days ago where I went to Boulder, you saw me putting this little drone in the vest. And then I have my little remote controller, and then I send it up. So anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy some of the aerial shots that I get for all of you. How much time does it take? It probably adds about 20 to 30 minutes to the longer runs. For the shorter runs, like yesterday's vlog, I just carry, okay, here we go, hold on. You guys are just getting the full, you're getting the full backdrop here on video production. This is a Tech, I'm not even, WG2 gimbal, and this is what carries the GoPro 7. And basically I carry this guy along, and so this guy is not, it also fits in my vest. And so anyway, like yesterday, I only took maybe 3 or 4 minutes to set up the shots that you saw in yesterday's vlog, and it was a much simpler filming day. And so depending on how much time I have in my day will impact the quality of the shots and how long it takes. But thank you, Thunder Flash, for the question and the super chat. That's amazing. Loving this chat box. Okay, let's see here. Chris, if you are new to running, how soon before doing track speed work to avoid injury? Chris, that's a good question. And the other, so Chris, just so you know, I had a lot of injuries in college, and we trained on a Mondo track, which means it's a different type of rubber, but there's concrete right underneath. It's a faster type of track, and I did have a lot of injuries. I think it was because of this. It was the combination of high mileage and then like doing speed work on a track, on a hard track. And now where I live in Denver, there's actually a dirt track not too far from me. I'm really excited once the snow melts to get out on that track and test it out. As far as doing speed work on a cinder track, a dirt track, as opposed to a harder Mondo track. So, Chris, to answer your question, I would say 3 to 4 months of just solid base training where you're healthy, completely healthy, and you just don't have any aches and pains, and you're just good to go, and then start to introduce workouts. And I don't even know if you have to, I would actually start first on dirt or a grass soccer field, or like a big, you know how sometimes there's soccer fields that have like 2 or 3 fields right next to each other, football fields for everyone in Europe. And so do like a 1K, that's what we used to do in college. We would do 1K loops around soccer fields. So that would be my recommendation. And then maybe start introducing some faster stuff on actual track workouts. So hopefully that answers your question. Chris, good question. Let's see here. Jack asks, how would you adjust your training while moving to a new city at a much higher elevation? Oh, interesting, Jack. That's kind of exciting. I think that's exciting. So, Jack, I would just know in your mind mentally that your pacing is going to be slower, of course. So, if you're trying to do like mile repeats, just adjust. And I don't know how high you're going up in elevation, but you know, don't be afraid to back off 10 seconds per mile for your mile repeats. Or if you're doing 1K repeats, maybe it's like 5 seconds per kilometer. Just like back off the pace a little bit. As far as mileage, you probably don't need to drop down too much. Maybe a little bit just to adjust initially. And I would say give it, oh man, and again, it depends on how high you're going, but I would say 6 weeks. I bet in 6 weeks of training in your new city, you will start to really feel better. But there will be an adjustment period for sure. So thank you. I believe that was Jack who asked that. Okay, diving into the box, and let's see here. Just pulling out a question, and again, email me your questions or send them to me on Instagram or on DeMoor Global Running. Holy smokes. Okay, let's see here. This is from Jacob. You must have a good stride length. I have a high cadence, but my stride is about 1.1 meters. Any tips on increasing stride without losing cadence? And Jacob, great question. And I don't know how you quite figured out that 1.1 meters. You must have actually, had somebody measuring it. That's awesome. So, plyometrics. Was it this morning? Yes, this morning we published a vlog about plyometrics. And so, I'm really excited. I'm going to make probably 3, 4, 5 videos about plyometrics moving forward. And what are plyometrics? They're basically movements, exercises that we can do as runners to improve our overall strength, suppleness of our tendons and joints, and our explosion or our power while running. And so if you go watch today's vlog that published today, I talk all about plyometrics, and it's not the how to do them, just frankly introducing the topic to this YouTube running family. So Jacob, great question. And yes, so Jacob, I'm not going to get into too many details, but just go on the channel, look for the plyometrics video or videos that we'll be publishing soon, and I'm really excited about this topic. Okay, great job. All right, I'm just diving in here, trying to monitor your chat. You guys are amazing. Let's see. Chris asks, how long until your t-shirt are going to be for sale? Chris, great question. So Chris, a vlog fan, reached out to me recently, and a vlog fan reached out to me recently from North Carolina. In fact, I feel like he's somewhere here in the chat. I saw him earlier, and he has offered his services to help me with overall design. And so, Chris, oh man, I need to put a deadline. I would say, I said mid-February, and I know we're not quite there yet, but I'm hoping, oh man, let's just say like in the next 2 weeks, okay? The toughest thing, Chris, is researching all the different t-shirt printing companies out there. There's so many, and it's really extensive. And so anyway, thank you, Chris, for asking, because they are coming, but it's been a lot of work just to research who to go with. And so, okay, let's see here. We've been going about an hour, a little over an hour now. I always want to be respectful of your time, and that will be the lineup and the game plan for these live streams. And just so you know, I'm also, I continue to make progress with the live streaming and interviewing other people live here on the channel. So different runners, coaches, professional runners. Oh my goodness, it's happening, but it's really a lot of work to figure out how to do live streaming really well with other people in different locations. But I did make some good steps this week. Next week, I'm hoping again, remember how we tried to interview my brother last week? It didn't work out. I'm hoping that it will work next week. I actually had to purchase some software to do better live streaming, and I'm not actually using that software today because I'm not interviewing another person live. But anyway, just want to update you on that. I'm really hoping that next week, what is today? Thursday, so we might do another live stream sooner rather than later with another person, meaning on a different night of the week other than Wednesday, only because it might work out better for my brother's schedule. Okay, so this is your chance to ask any more questions in the chat. If you have any other questions, I will answer all of them that come in from here forward, and then we will probably sign off. Let's see here. What is the best training plan to run a sub 17 5K from Dylan? Whew, that is specific. The best training plan. Dylan, I don't know if you're in high school or not. I'm guessing you are if you're trying to break 17 in the 5K, which means you're fast. Dylan, I would recommend, you always got to start. Guys, it's always hard to, just so you know, everybody, whenever I dish out training advice, I always have to put an asterisk because I don't know who you are, like as far as your body type, your experience in running, but I always will attempt to answer as best as possible. I don't want to like shy away and be scared of questions. So I just want to put that out there. Dylan, I would say 40 to 50 miles a week would be a good volume goal. 40 to 50 miles a week. And I'm a big fan, Dylan, of, frankly, 5Ks are fast races. They're just fast races. There's no way to get around it. Like it's a short race. And I know that it might sound like a long race now, but when you get older, like a 5K will appear very short, which means it's fast, fast, fast. And so, Dylan, I'm a really big fan of 300 meter repeats with a 100 meter jog for 5K training. And yes, you do need to do longer interval training, getting ready for a 5K for sure. But believe it or not, I'm a big fan of fast turnover for the 5K combined with a pretty solid aerobic base. And that's where that 40 to 50 miles a week comes in. And listen, I know that there's high school programs around the country that train at 70 miles a week. And I've even heard of some going up to 80 miles a week in high school. I think it's too high. I'm just putting it out there. I think that's too high for high schoolers. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for the question from Dylan. Let's see. Joey asked, what is your favorite running shoe? Right now, it's the Salomon Speedcross 5. But guess what? Tomorrow, it could be the Reebok Float Ride Run Fast Pro. But right now, this baby is rocking my world. It's changing the way I train. Remember, we talked about that a couple days ago on the vlog. Okay, jumping back in here. After 1 year of running, I ran a 10K in 33:20. Andre, is that good? That's amazing. Andre, you have some talent. Congrats. That is very, very good. Good question. That's a great time. Okay, let's see. Sebastian, thank you. That's awesome, Sebastian. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. Should we alternate live stream times going forward for your European fans? That's from Adrian. Adrian, I would love to. Listen, Adrian, I am here for you guys. I'm here to hopefully bring you a little bit of value, hopefully inspire you to get out the door and put those kilometers under your belt. And I would love to do this as often as possible. Obviously, time is money, and like time is precious. And I want to make sure that these live streams remain at a high quality level and high value level for you. If you're going to be here watching for, now we're over an hour. So listen, let's keep talking. I love Europe. I love, but listen, I love Asia as well. And I know we have a lot of people watching in Singapore and Japan and Australia and the Philippines and all over in Asia as well. So let's strategize, let's figure out a game plan, and we'll make this work. So thank you, Adrian, for your support and for being here. Okay, let's see here. Which pair of running shoes do you put in your suitcase? This is from question for the hobby runner. Isolated island dilemma. It sounds like you are traveling soon, Lef. Which pair of running shoes do you put in your suitcase? Oh, I see what you're asking. Like if I had to only choose one? Oh man, that's a good question. Okay. New Balance, can I choose two? New Balance Beacons and the Nike Pegasus 35 Turbos. If I can only choose one, it would probably be the Turbos. All right. So good question, Left. Now it also depends. Does the island have big mountains? All right. I'll leave it at that. What would be a good speed workout for marathon? That's from Louise. Let's see. Louise, I talked about this on a vlog about a month ago. You should go watch that. I'll try and link it up above. But just type in marathon workouts onto the home page of the YouTube channel, on this YouTube channel, and you will be able to see some ideas for marathon workouts. I like, Louise, speed, you said good speed workout for marathons. I mean, Louise, I would say you may want to approach marathon workouts more so from the perspective of strength over speed, like making sure that your muscles and your legs are built for, because the marathon, it's you know, it's a strength effort. It is a speed effort as well. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can run a fast marathon, but you're going to get tired after 18 miles. There's no way to get around that. So I love the idea of 1,200 meter repeats. Find a hill, but not a big hill, just a slight uphill. So do like 6 by 1,200 meter repeats with a full jog back recovery. So you go up the hill 800 meters. So you got to go, so a half mile. And then once you get to the top of the hill, crest over the hill and finish the repeat with 400 meters of you know, not kicking, but speed, where you pick up your turnover. So 800 meter up the hill, and then crest over the hill, and then 400 meters on the flat, or if it's a slight downhill, that's okay. But just like working on that strength up the hill, and then making sure that when you crest over the hill, you can keep your speed up. And I would say 6 by 1,200 with a full jog back recovery, so you're going to be fully recovered aerobically by the time you get back to the starting line. That would be an idea. Hopefully that helps, Louise. Thanks for the question. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for being here, everybody. You know, you guys are amazing. That was a great live stream, and I'm so glad Europe was represented today. And we will explore future live streaming ideas. If you're watching this in the replay, go ahead and spread the, or actually if you're watching right now, go ahead and spread this link around to maybe your running friends. That would help this channel so much. If if we brought a little value today, a little bit of fun, grab the link and then just share it to your running groups on Facebook, on Twitter, email it out to your running buddies. I would appreciate it, because that will help me be able to do this more often. So I just want to put that out there. You're the best. Thank you so much. And I think we're going to sign off with a good old Seek Beauty, work hard, and love each other. Woo! We will be back next week, and stay tuned all over social media and on YouTube. I will announce when it will be. It will definitely be Wednesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, but we'll also probably throw in some others as well. All right, signing off. You're the best. Shutting it down. All right.